Hi guys, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason bringing you today's episode. This fuzzy one right here that's doing her little stretches is Freya. She's also welcoming you to today's episode. And as always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys. We really appreciate the support. We're just a small little family channel trying to bring you guys fun books, fun authors, fun things to read. So today I want to talk about, Today I want to talk about an absolutely amazing series. I want to talk about the most recent book in it. As always, I'm going to talk about four things: the world, the characters, the plot, and the writing style. The writing style is going to be my favorite part of this one. So I want to talk about Craig Alanson's Expeditionary Force, book 14, called Match Game. So I know from comments on our channel and from conversations I've had with other people, we definitely have some Expeditionary Force fans out there, and I fully understand why. If you're a science fiction fan or you're just an entertaining book fan, the Expeditionary Force, it's tough to beat. It's one of the most entertaining series I have ever read. It was real tough for me to put Omega Force over Expeditionary Force or back and forth. It's pretty much whichever one I most recently read, I tend to like the most. But Expeditionary Force might actually be my favorite. So the world. The world is, well, modern-ish times. We're in a little bit into the future because we've progressed many years since the very first book, where our character, Joe Bishop, discovered Skippy the Elder AI sentient beer can, and started getting into some shenanigans in space. Now the character's a little bit older. They're a little bit more jaded, a little bit more confident in some ways, less confident in other ways. Earth has become more powerful. It is no longer at risk of being annihilated every time it sneezes. Not that Earth can sneeze, but you get what I'm saying. And that's pretty much where Expeditionary Force 14 begins. Is the Earth is somewhat safe in that they now have an elder weapon called the Sentinel that is present within the solar system. The rest of the aliens, and I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce one of them. I'm just going to say the Max, because I think it's Mazolks, but I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. So they've managed to convince the most dangerous aliens that the Sentinel is under their control, or that it is independently controlled and is defending Earth. In reality, it's barely controlled by Skippy. If Skippy's not present, it won't do a damn thing. Most of what it can do, it can't actually do to defend Earth because it would destroy Earth while it's doing it, and it's running out of power. But in typical Joe Bishop fashion, they are bluffing. Which brings me into the main character, by the way. Joe Bishop, now a general, started out as a private or sergeant in book 1. It's been a while. And was in over his head through most of the book, most of the series. At this point now he's a general, and finally he actually deserves his rank. Before, when he was a sergeant on the ground and a captain in space because Skippy would not work with anybody else, as an officer, he was questionable. But he has learned. He has progressed. Craig Alanson has done a great job with that, of writing how Joe Bishop has progressed and learned and become better. And at this point actually does deserve to be a general. He is a general. He is most definitely a general, except for frontline guy anymore. Still a little, you almost want to say a little slow at times, except that he's sneaky. He's sneaky, he's devious, and that is something that's brought up quite a few times in the book. Very sneaky, very devious, an excellent liar, fantastic bluffer. I'd hate to play poker against Joe Bishop. And the plot of Match Game, now that the Earth is quasi-secured, Earth itself, its citizens want to start pulling back, which is definitely not what the Expeditionary Force or the military wants, because they know that the Sentinel is a bluff, but they can't tell everybody else that because then their enemies will find out. So they know it's a bluff. The citizens of Earth think it's not. They think they're untouchable now. They want to pull back from the galactic society and not pursue alliances and stuff like that. They want to go isolationist because they're tired of war, which is understandable. Expeditionary Force, however, they need to do a couple things. They need to find the other Elder AI that Skippy believes is active and working against them, and has possibly always been active and working against them. They need to figure out, they need to stop whatever signal was used to awaken the rest of the Sentinels in the previous book. They need to solve that. They need to stop that. In order to stop that, they actually need to steal some other Elder AI artifacts in order to do that. And it just kind of keeps going. It just kind of keeps snowballing as one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. The difference from the previous books is that, again, Joe Bishop has now kind of become more proactive and less reactive. They're not always back on their heels doing a we have to do this or we're all dead kind of thing. Now it's a we have to do this so that we can make sure we're safer. They're not under immediate threat of total species annihilation at this point. We're not at DEFCON 4, now we're more DEFCON 3. Hopefully as the series progresses, maybe we get to DEFCON 2, maybe we get to DEFCON 1. Some of the species, the aliens, are starting to look at humans now as the most powerful society out there, mostly because, again, of Joe Bishop's bluffing. Now, in typical Expeditionary Force fashion, the Merry Band of Pirates, which is Joe's main crew, managed to mostly do what they were trying to do. Unfortunately, Murphy does show up a lot, and then of course the law of unintended consequences pops up a whole bunch of times and gets mentioned quite a few times. Joe absolutely hates that law. And what ends up happening near the end of the book makes you very, very much wish for book 15. Now, another great thing with match games, like most of Alanson's books, at least within the Expeditionary Force series, is that your main plot points are solved. The main thrust of what the entire book is going for, it's solved. They finish it. They finish the main mission. Doesn't mean there's not other things, side quests pop up, stuff like that. But the main quest is finished. Of course, then they have a second problem. Another problem, well, they're like 30 problems down the list at this point, but another problem, of course, pops up near the end to throw a wrench in things. Skippy is not as awesome as you may think he is. Now, the writing style of the Expeditionary Force books, it's fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I am literally laughing out loud every couple of pages, which has my wife looking at me like I've lost my mind most of the time. It's absolutely hilarious. The dialogue is some of the funniest dialogue I've ever read in a book, between pop culture references and smart-ass comments and the non-stop insults between the characters, especially Skippy and Joe, but between all of the characters, plus Skippy's absolute god-awful inability to understand humans, which leads to more unintended consequences, including the time where Skippy gets, almost for all intents and purposes, drunk, and what happens there gets really funny. Plus Skippy's karaoke and opera obsessions, and his movie obsession. The dialogue is just incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and yet I wouldn't call it a comedy book, because he writes the science fiction, he writes the space battles, and he writes the conflicts of the military and stuff like that so very, very well. And again, he's written Joe Bishop's learning curve and maturing levels throughout this series in a fantastic way, and he explains space battle stuff and the physics behind it and stuff like that very, very well. So while it's going to make you laugh, it's going to make you crack up so many times, it's also an awesome science fiction book. So it's not a comedy book, it's definitely a science fiction book with some really snappy, great dialogue. So if you have not read Expeditionary Force, what in the hell is wrong with you? One of the best series out there. You've got to go check it out. Hit the like, subscribe buttons, comment, shoot us an email, give me another book to read, and then go check out Craig Alanson's Expeditionary Force. Freaking amazing. And if you haven't read book 14 yet, but you've read the rest, you're an idiot. Go read book 14. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.